Good evening, ladies. It's Lynsey. How are we? It feels like forever since I've been live in here. There's been so much going on, but that's okay, right? It's all good stuff. It's just a bit crazy, as we know, doing all the things. So for those of you who are new to the group, welcome. I hope you're navigating your way around the group, and if you need any information or you want information on a certain topic, then please reach out, because we have stacks of PDFs and things that we can send you that we'd love to get over to you as well. So yeah, please reach out, and welcome to the group. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Lynsey. I'm an integrative health practitioner, former nurse. I've worn a few hats in my time. I've done a fair bit of stuff. But anyway, we're not going to talk about that right now. I hope for those of you, we are in Queensland. It's school holidays at the moment. So as you know, being a mum, juggling school holidays, trying to run a business, got tradies in the house. It's mental. Mental. I said to Jez, oh God, I can't remember what I'm talking about tonight. He goes, why don't you talk about stress and how you're managing that right now? And I'm like, yeah, okay, I could do that. But no, ladies, what are we here to talk about tonight? We are talking about how to navigate midlife without the weight gain. Who would love to know more about that? Who would love to know, like hands up in the comments, if you would love to know how we can, prevent the weight gain, that weight gain around our middle, that spare tire that seems to just come from nowhere, the suddenness of the weight gain. Like, where the heck did that, you wake up one morning, you're like, I just put on 10 kilos overnight. How the F did that happen? So yeah, welcome. Hey, Janelle. Hello, ladies. I can see a couple of you on there. Hey, Nick, how are you going? Hope you're well. So yeah, so imagine what it'd be like to be able to just navigate that, not having any weight gain, the energy issues, the mood concerns, that highs and lows, the emotional outbursts, difficulty sleeping, all of the things that we, put down to, what's going on in our bodies when things start to change. And for a lot of women, you're working, you're in that period in your life where, for me particularly, we've got aging parents. Tilly's only 12, so she's still relatively young and needs you. There's running your own business. There's things like we're having problems at the moment in the house with insurance, like an insurance claim from back in December from the storm. So that's all like happening now, and they're ripping out 2 of our bathrooms, and there's tradies in the house, and it's just a nightmare. So you're dealing with a lot. Plus, then on top of that, you're dealing with these changes in hormones, in our systems, our endocrine system particularly, so our thyroid and our adrenal function. We're dealing with, liver function, we're dealing with gallbladder function, we're dealing with, or malfunction, should we say. So there's all this stuff going on, and, we know the whole situation of we go to our GPs, we get our bloods done, bloods come back within range because they look at this range, we look at this range, and then you walk away from there so, I suppose, disillusioned that, there's not more going on, because you want to know why you feel like this and why your body's so out of whack and why why the weight gain, where's it all coming from? So, there's really good evidence coming out now and research showing that that's the transition, from perimenopause, which, remember, ladies, can be up to 10 years for some of us. It was for me. That transition from perimenopause and beyond can be the most challenging time for a female in their life, like the most challenging time. So just take stock of that and remember where you're at and give yourself some grace. Okay, take a breath, deep breath in. You're doing well. We're going okay, right? I know there's all the stuff going on, but sometimes you just have to give yourself a little bit of a break. But these significant symptoms, they do impact our overall quality of life, but we can change that, okay? And there is risk of disease if we don't do something about it. So that's what I do, right? We look at all of that. We're looking at, and what I use, to look at the weight gain and the metabolic struggles and all of the symptoms that come with that, I look at what's called a de-stress protocol, okay? So we're looking at what is stressing the body, what is happening to the body. So we're looking at diet, we're looking at exercise, we're looking at your stress levels. We're looking at toxins that are affecting that. So, you know, heavy metals, which are what we call endocrine disruptors, they can really mess with our hormones, you know, and cause heavy periods. And, you know, I've spoken to so many women recently who just bleeding for days on end, like that is not normal, right? And then the doctors want to put you on the pill, and they want to put you on more shit that disrupts your endocrine system. Alrighty. We want to look at rest. So we want to look at sleep. Like, how are you sleeping? What are your regimes before you go to bed? We're looking at emotions. Like, that's huge as well. We're looking at supplement therapy. So what are you taking? And you know, the nutraceutical market these days is insane. And people, you know, they see shiny objects on Facebook. We all do. Oh, let's buy that. It says it's going to fix this, this, and this. Of course. Like, I've done it myself. But we just don't always know that that's what our body needs at that time. And then we're looking at sort of spirituality. So spirituality, couldn't get that one out. You know, so more looking at, you know, what's going on there for you as well, and where you are on that journey. Because again, that's a massive part of, you know, even just looking at things like gratitude. You know, I can bitch and whinge and moan about my day, but holy heck, it's been a really good day. You know, I've got a home, I've got a roof over my head, I've got abundance of food, I've got a pool in my backyard, all of those things. A healthy child, although Till's a bit sick today, but she's just got a head cold, she'll be fine. So there's stuff like that we can, you know, be really, really grateful for, whereas, you know, there's other people that don't have all that. So if we go back to, you know, that, looking at that whole picture, okay, so we're looking at the whole person. That's what I do as an integrative health practitioner. I'm looking at you as a whole person. I'm not going, oh, you've got weight gain, so you should actually stop eating carbs, stop eating fat. How about you just stop eating altogether? Actually, no, we need to eat. We need to fuel our system. We need carbohydrates, ladies. And it's really important that diet and those nutrients that we're putting in are actually being utilized. So a lot of the time is what I see in my clients, they're eating a really good diet, but because their digestive process is being slowed down by things like not having enough sodium, potassium to make hydrochloric acid in your gut, they're not breaking the food down. So the food sits in the stomach, the food doesn't get broken down properly. It then obviously doesn't get taken and used properly, because then we've got bloating and we've got fermentation, putrefaction, all happening in the gut, which is where that horrible, you know, bloating excess stuff comes as well. But also if you've got other stuff going on in your gut, i.e. bacteria, you might have parasites, you might have candida, like that has a massive impact as well on our overall health, and also on the weight gain. Because if your body, we have what's called a reptilian brain. If your reptilian brain doesn't feel safe, and that's all it knows, it only knows to keep you safe, it will never drop weight. Never. So we have to then tweak the system and put the right nutrients back into your system in order for the body to go, or that reptilian brain to go, oh yes, I'm safe now. I can let go of this weight, because the body has what it needs. The body has, you know, protein. The body has carbohydrates. The body has fats. All of what we need on a daily basis for the body to function. So all of these wacko, fucked up diets, excuse my language, that are out there, all they do, I'm going to say the F word again, so pull your ears, they fuck up your metabolism. That's what they do. And so all these people that go on these diets and go, oh, I lost 15 kilos, I lost 20 kilos. What happens 2 years later, you see them, they're back to square one, because their metabolism is so screwed up, it does not know what it's doing. The thyroid is then under scrutiny, or is basically, you've got decreased thyroid function. That has a knock-on effect on our adrenal functions. Then we have decreased adrenal function. So your body is not producing the hormones that it needs in order to function. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up if you're following. And ladies, if you're on replay watching this, you know, follow along, because we do come back in here and check on, you know, whether people have got questions or anything like that. And evening, Pamela. Hey, Michelle, how are we going? So that's just one element, right? Diet. And so when I run the HTMA, so the hair tissue mineral analysis, that comes back depending on your metabolic type. Well, it's actually not metabolic type. It's actually, we're looking at your metabolism as either like a slow 1, 2, 3, 4 or a fast 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's actually metabolic type. And that metabolic type is basically how your nutrients are being utilized in your system. So it's the utilization of your nutrients. So if you haven't got those nutrients there to support your system, i.e. support your thyroid, support your adrenals, support your liver, support your gallbladder, then, you know, there's going to be a disconnect in, you know, those systems, because they can't fully function. And then your body goes looking for those minerals elsewhere, and guess where it goes and takes it from? It goes and takes it from the bone. And that's when we get into strife as women in our 40s and end up with things like osteoporosis and stuff like that, because the body's been searching for the right minerals for so long because we haven't been putting the right minerals in, or our body is so stressed that the minerals are just being chewed through really quickly, then we're just not getting what we need. Does that make sense? Yeah, good. Following? I know it's full on, right? And there's a lot of chemistry involved in, you know, the HTMA and what I do, and understanding, you know, the metabolic process, and understanding, you know, what manganese does in the body, what zinc does in the body, you know, what happens when zinc is, you know, high over copper, for instance, which those two work very closely in the body, and they're very, very linked to estrogen and progesterone. So, you know, when I see a HTMA come back and it's got really high copper, then I know there's some sort of estrogenic effect going on in the body, whereas progesterone follows zinc. So again, if there's something going on there, I just know that there is an imbalance in the hormones. Alrighty. So what about exercise? Like, exercise impacts as well. And it impacts us in terms of either losing weight or not losing weight. So what people tend to do is they go, right, I'm going to cut out carbs, and I'm going to exercise more, and I'm going to just run. So straight away, we've got decreased carbohydrates, which we need, and the body needs to utilize those to obviously make ATP to give us energy. And then we also need, we then obviously when we're exercising, we're running. And so if we haven't got the muscle mass already, what happens then is, because you're running and there's not the nutrients the body needs to help keep you running, it goes into your muscle stores and starts using that up. And so then we get so depleted. And yeah, again, so we're doing the wrong exercise. So we need to think about strength training. We need to think about doing things like Pilates, like reformer. So we're putting the muscles under some tension. We need to think about doing some calming exercises for our nervous system as well. So parasympathetic, sympathetic nervous systems, and, you know, allowing the body to come back into, you know, a calm state, because we are running on adrenal energy sometimes. So that's exercise. And plus, going and running 5 times a week causes more inflammation in the body as well. And then, are you dealing with the inflammation? How are you dealing with that inflammation? Most people aren't. And then they're not putting the right nutrients back in either. So they're pretty screwed, really. So your body is just chewing through your muscle. Then we got stress. Like, hands up if everyone feels a bit of stress now and then. Like, we need some stress in our life. But most of us have way too much stress in our lives. Alrighty? So how are you addressing stress? Like, stress has a massive impact on our adrenals and our thyroid as well. Again, that reptilian brain, if it feels completely out of, you know, sorts, and things aren't calm and the body's in, you know, imbalance, it will not let go of weight. So you can exercise and eat all you want and think, I'm eating a really clean diet, But if your gut function is not working and you're not actually absorbing those nutrients and your thyroid and your adrenals are screwed and not producing the hormones, then the body is not going to drop that weight at all. Then we got toxins. Like there's a lot of toxins flying around, alrighty. And one of the things that we look at when we're running the HTMA is not only your base nutrients, but we're looking at the toxic ratios as well. So most of us will have arsenic, uranium, mercury, lead, like all of this stuff floating around. And guess where it goes? It goes to the tissue. It goes to our brain. It goes to our heart. It goes to our liver. These are where these things settle in because the blood pushes them out, because the blood is always trying to maintain homeostasis. And if there's something that comes in and the blood doesn't like it, it gets rid of it. And where does it go? To the tissue. And it will just sit in the tissue until your nutrient balance is good enough to basically kick it out of there, or what we call antagonize it. Otherwise, it's just sitting there as a heavy metal and it is chewing away through your essential nutrients that you need. Alrighty, so we need to get rid of those heavy metals as well. So that's your toxins. But we've also got toxins coming in from our food that we're eating, because obviously food planted in the soil these days. The soils are full of pesticides, herbicides, you name it, unless you're eating organic. So even our plants are not clean. Alrighty, so as much as we can be eating a lot of vegetables and, you know, all of the good stuff, it's not necessarily actually got the nutrients it had in it, you know, 20, 30 years ago. Alrighty, so that's just something to just keep in the back of your mind. Hence why sometimes we do need that supplementation. Alrighty, we have to have these base nutrients in order for these functions in our body to let go of your weight, you know, for that weight gain. And then rest. So rest, when we're talking about rest, we're talking about sleep. And also, you know, taking time out for yourself in a day, which, you know, it doesn't have to be hours. It can be, you know, 2 lots of 10-minute blocks out of your day to just sit and, you know, take stock of what's going on and have a breath. And yeah, how many of you today have actually realized that you're breathing until now? Like the body just keeps going, right? So it's really important sometimes just to stop and actually, you know, feel and actually breathe through your nose. Feel that warm air and actually go through the process of like, okay, what is happening here? Yeah, I know, it's crazy, right? So that rest period, and also looking at how you are, you know, what are your bedtime routines? What does that look like? Are you on your phone? Are you on your computer? Like I'm sitting here now in front of, I've got lights on everywhere. I've got my computer. I've got a big screen. I've got my phone. I've got a ring light. Like, wow, I'm being bombarded. So my poor brain is just like, what is going on here? If I sit in front of this till 10 o'clock at night, then I am going to really struggle to go to sleep. So it's really important to, you know, look at dimming your lights, having some Himalayan salt lamps. Like I have them all around in the house, and we just turn off all the lights at night and just have those on. You know, not being on your screen before bed, which everyone knows. Trying not to have your phone near your bed either, because that is just constant EMFs bombarding your system while your body's trying to sleep and repair and restore. So again, and we don't want to be going to bed on a full stomach, because we want the body to be going into that rest, repair, restore mode, not into, you know, digestion. Like the body needs to have been doing digestion from say 6:30 till say 8:30, and then you go to bed at 9:30. That would be ideal. So that's your rest element. And again, if you're not getting sleep and you're getting broken sleep and you're waking up in the night, then that again has an impact on your body in dropping weight. So you know, that is something to think about as well. What is your, you know, what's your sleep-wake cycle like? What time are you waking up in the morning? Do you feel rested when you wake up, or do you just feel completely trashed? Which, you know, a lot of my clients come to me and that's what they feel like initially. They're not having good restful night's sleep. They're not having the good REM sleep. So, you know, consequently, they are waking up feeling like they haven't had any sleep, or they've been up and down all night, or they're waking at 3 and then can't get back to sleep. That's like quite a normal cycle that I see. Emotions. Let's talk about emotions. Like, they run high and low, right? Through this period. I think I've told this story before, but I remember like being really, one day just being really out of sorts. I didn't feel good. I was driving to work, and I was coaching at the time, and I was at some traffic lights and I stopped, obviously, and not watching the light, or just not concentrating, not fully with it. Oh, excuse me. And the guy behind me hooted. You know how they do, really impatient because the light's green, you're supposed to have gone. And I just burst into tears, and I was just like, oh my God, like, what is going on? But this would happen regularly. So, you know, ladies, if that is happening to you, it doesn't need to happen. There's stuff going on in your system that is causing that. And again, you know, those high emotions have a massive impact on our parasympathetic, sympathetic nervous system. So, you know, going through really highs of feeling great, and then really lows of the low, feeling really low, almost on the verge of depression, but not depression. Okay, so I've been a psych nurse, and yes, I didn't feel great. Yes, I felt low mood for quite a lot of months, until, you know, I got myself sorted. But it wasn't like, you know, I could get myself out of bed and I could get going and I'd go to work, but I just wouldn't feel quite, you know, myself. I just knew I wasn't myself. And that's, you know, I hear that a lot from a lot of women. Like, I just don't feel myself. That's usually a B6 deficiency, lady. So don't go and buy it, but you need to run your HTMA to make sure that that's what you need, because you don't always need it. Anyway, caveat. And then supplement therapy. So when I speak to most of my clients, or they come and see me at home here in my clinic, they bring a bag of nutraceutical supplements, stuff that they've been taking for most probably 2 years. I'm like, okay, righto. So what we need to understand here is our bodies are not designed to need that stuff all the time. It's called a supplement because it's designed to supplement for that period of time where you're not feeling 100%. Okay? So what happens is we find, or what I find is, what I see is people are on a multi, they're on extra B vitamins, they're on magnesium, vitamin C, zinc, like, but then when you look at each of those will have a derivative of, say, take zinc for instance. Zinc is going to have some other stuff in it as well. It's mostly going to have some, you know, some vitamin C. It's mostly going to have some B vitamins. They all end up doubling up. Alrighty. So if you're not aware of your recommended daily intake of calcium, magnesium, zinc, all of the things, then most people are having way too much, and it actually negates what the effect of it is that it's needed to do, i.e., you know, zinc on the immune system can obviously negate that and have an opposite effect. Too much magnesium actually has an effect on the adrenals and actually can slow them down and cause an impact on your adrenal glands. So B vitamins, like if you're taking too many Bs, they can actually do the opposite and reverse the effect of what you're wanting them to do. So it's really, really, and this is where the HTMA is so important, and for people to understand that just taking supplements willy-nilly just because someone told you, or Google said because you're tired you need to have some magnesium, or because you're not sleeping you need to have some magnesium, or you need magnesium for your muscle cramps, then, you know, sometimes we can just be actually having a much more adverse effect on our bodies. and especially at this point in our lives, you really need to have an understanding of what the hell's going on in your body rather than just guessing. And that's why I'm always harping on about stop guessing and test. Alrighty, because it does take the, you see it in these graphs in black and white. Most of my clients have way too much calcium, way too much magnesium, no sodium, no potassium, low iron. Like, it really is, it's really messy out there in that whole nutraceutical supplement therapy area at the moment. Like, it's full on. And I feel sorry for people because, people are really trying to, because their doctors have, said, look, there's nothing I can do from you. This is what a lady said to me the other day. She said, my doctor said, look, you just have to ride the wave. And so she's gone looking for, something maybe to help her, because you see this stuff on the internet and it pops up all the time when you start looking at, perimenopause symptoms and stuff, and suddenly you're being shown all of these adverts, and they do a great job, like on marketing. But the stuff that is in there, and especially the excipients, which are the things that help take, those nutrients into the cells, are not always great for our bodies, and our bodies actually, almost reject the stuff, which can cause more symptoms in itself. So it's really important to, to fully understand your body, and hence why, for me, getting this message out there about this is so important. And it's crucial that we stop people from bloody just going buying willy-nilly, from the chemist, or from anyone really, do you know what I mean, online. And then spirituality, which we've obviously spoken about, just really getting in touch with, how you feel on a day-to-day basis, gratitude, maybe writing a journal, and just looking back and seeing, your, I suppose, your journey with, with perimenopause, and it can be a journey for women, if you don't understand what's going on. So, ladies, when it comes to weight loss, which is, what we're talking about here, all of those things that I've spoken about will have an impact on your weight if they are not right. Alrighty, so you might just go through them and go, oh my God, yeah, my diet, things are not right with my diet. Maybe I'm doing the wrong exercise, stressing my body out even more, which, causes more stress on the nervous system. You might already be stressed, like understanding your stress levels and, where your stress is coming from and trying to alleviate that is so important, because again, that affects our nervous system. It has an impact on our thyroid and adrenals. Toxins, like what are you putting into your body? Do you actually know the effect of those toxins? Like I've had clients who, dye their hair pink, blue, purple, whatever. Those effects of that going straight into your brain, and then into your thyroid, your adrenals, they are endocrine disruptors. You will never get well when you're dyeing your hair those colors all the time. And that's a choice, right? And that's fine if that's what they want to do. But they're going to, remain in a mess forever and a day. Rest, getting that sleep, again at night, that's when your body is restoring, and that's when your body will, decide, okay, she's good. The body feels good. I'm going to drop some weight. Emotions are huge too, because that has a massive impact on the whole system. And then making sure you're putting in the right supplements as well, for the body to, utilize those nutrients as well. And then, yeah, getting a grip on how you're feeling day to day. Oh, there's mozzies coming in. So, really, ladies, it is when we are looking at this and doing what I do, you are integrating all of those things day to day. It is about changing habits. It is understanding where you're at. And, if you go through each of those yourself and tick, write them down and maybe put a little note as to, what you're doing and where maybe there's areas you can work on, then that's where you need to start. And, if you do want to go ahead and test to see what's going on, then that's going to give you even more power to, really understand that weight loss process and why your body's not dropping weight. So yeah, reach out if you are looking to do an HTMA or run your HTMA. Janelle can send you a link where you can book in for a 15-minute consultation, and that is with me one-on-one, whereby we go through where you're at, what's going on for you, and look at whether, you know, running your HTMA is the right thing. HTMA is the right thing for you right now, or, you know, whether you need to go down another route. But yeah, I hope that is a little bit of a sort of an eye-opener for you. No diet is ever going to work, as we spoke about, you know, earlier. Dieting is definitely not the answer, especially when we're in our 40s, when our hormones are changing and our body is slowing down naturally anyway. We want to keep as much metabolism going as possible, so we want as much muscle mass on as we can. And, you know, eating a good amount of protein, getting light in the morning. So when you wake up, go out for a walk, get that light on your face first thing in the morning, so that we are producing that melatonin for sleep later on in the night or later on in the day to help you fall asleep. And then all of those small little habits around your sleep is so, so important as well. So ladies, I'm going to love you and leave you. I hope that is insightful for you. And if you do have any questions, then please reach out. And yeah, thank you always for all your support. I'll speak to you soon. Have a great week.